What happened on May 17, 2025 will shock you, and it's a story they don't want you to know. The mainstream media covered Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese, but they buried the real story. Sure, you heard about the hard hit, but what about the racist chants from the crowd? What about the investigation that followed? What about the research that proves this has been happening all along? We've got the full story, the one that makes league officials uncomfortable, and I'm about to share every shocking detail with you right now. This is a wake-up call that America desperately needs to hear. So, what exactly happened during the match on May 17th? The Fever were crushing it, leading 56-42 with just over 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Everything seemed normal until one split-second decision changed everything. Angel Reese had just grabbed an offensive rebound and was making her way toward the basket. But then Caitlin Clark made a decision that would spark weeks of debate and investigation. Clark went straight at Reese, making contact with her right arm in what can only be described as a hard collision. The impact was so forceful that it knocked Reese completely to the ground, and the basketball went rolling away from the play. Now, hard fouls happen in basketball all the time, but what happened next is what really escalated this situation. Can you imagine being knocked down like that and just walking away? Well, Angel Reese wasn't about to let it slide. She quickly jumped back to her feet and got right in Clark's face. Both players were clearly heated, and you could see the emotions boiling over. Thankfully, Indiana's Aaliyah Boston stepped in before things could get even worse. She quickly got between the two players, but the damage was already done. The referees had seen enough. After reviewing the play, they upgraded Clark's initial personal foul to a flagrant one. Both Reese and Boston also received technical fouls for their roles in the aftermath. But here's the question everyone was asking. Was this just competitive basketball, or was there something more to it? Clark's defense.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows.
When reporters asked Caitlin Clark about the incident after the game, she was quick to defend her actions. She told them it wasn't anything malicious and that it was just a good basketball play. Clark explained that she was trying to make a strategic foul to send Chicago to the free throw line instead of allowing an easy basket. Clark seemed genuinely confused about why the referees decided to upgrade the foul. She said she wasn't sure what the officials saw that made them change their original call. The rookie maintained that she never intended to hurt anyone, and that it was simply a tactical basketball move that every player understands. During her interview with ESPN, Clark kept insisting that there was nothing wrong with what she did. She described it as a standard take foul that happens in basketball all the time. But was it really just a routine basketball play? That's where opinions started to divide. After all the drama, the game had to go on. Reese stepped up to the free throw line to shoot her flagrant foul shots. And here's where things got even more uncomfortable. When she missed her first free throw, the entire arena erupted in cheers. Think about that for a moment. Fans were celebrating a player's missed free throw after she'd just been knocked to the ground. Reese managed to make her second attempt, and Chicago added a layup on the next possession to cut the deficit to 56-45. But the real story was just beginning to unfold. The investigation begins. What happened during the game was concerning enough, but what came to light in the following days was absolutely shocking. Reports started surfacing that Angel Reese had been subjected to racial slurs and hateful abuse from fans during the game. Can you believe that? In 2025, we're still dealing with this kind of behavior in professional sports. But unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. On May 19, 2025, the WNBA released an official statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The league strongly condemned racism and discrimination, saying these behaviors have no place in their organization or society. They confirmed they were aware of the allegations and were launching a full investigation. This wasn't just a simple statement either. The league was taking this seriously and committing real resources to find out what happened during that game in Indianapolis. Organizations respond. The Indiana Fever organization couldn't ignore what had happened either. Their leadership acknowledged that there had been inappropriate fan conduct during the game and promised to work closely with the WNBA investigation. They committed to ensuring a safe environment for all players in the league. But here's what's really telling. They admitted there had been problematic behavior from their own fans. That's not something any organization wants to acknowledge, but credit to them for being honest about it. The Chicago Sky wasn't quiet either. Their leadership welcomed the WNBA's investigation and promised to do everything possible to protect their players. They encourage the league to continue taking meaningful steps to create a safe environment for all WNBA athletes. What's particularly disturbing is that the league was specifically investigating racial comments directed toward Angel Reese by fans during the game. The exact details remained under investigation, but the fact that it happened at all is completely unacceptable. The history behind the rivalry. Now, to really understand what happened that night, we need to talk about the history between these two players. This wasn't just some random incident between strangers. Clark and Reese have been rivals since their college days. Their rivalry started way back in 2021 when they were both freshmen. Reese was playing for Maryland at the time, while Clark was representing Iowa. What began as a competition between two talented young players eventually became one of the most compelling storylines in women's basketball. Remember the 2023 NCAA tournament? That's when things really heated up between them. Reese's LSU Tigers defeated Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the national championship game. But it wasn't just the win that got people talking. It was Reese's famous hand gesture toward Clark during the closing moments. That gesture became a major talking point. Some people loved it, others hated it, and it sparked broader discussions about race, sportsmanship, and media coverage in women's basketball. The double standard revealed. Fast forward to 2024, when Clark led Iowa to a victory over Reese and LSU in the Elite Eight. Clark scored an incredible 41 points to advance to the Final Four. But here's something that might surprise you. Clark had actually made that same hand gesture during the Elite Eight game. So let me get this straight. Both players made the exact same gesture, right? But the reactions were completely different. When Clark did it, there was hardly any controversy. When Reese did it, she was criticized as classless and unsportsmanlike by media personalities and fans. Why do you think that is? What could possibly explain such different reactions to identical behavior? The research that exposed the truth. Well, researchers at Rice University decided to find out. Earlier in 2025, they published groundbreaking research that examined racial bias in public reactions to Clark and Reese during their college careers. The researchers analyzed 700,000 tweets from before, during, and after the 2023 NCAA championship game. That's a massive amount of data, and what they found was disturbing but not surprising. The study found that while Clark was largely celebrated for her gestures and behavior, Reese was disproportionately criticized, often with racial undertones. The researchers explained that this wasn't just social media chatter, it was a real-time reflection of how race and gender shape public perception. The research showed that when both players did the same thing, the responses weren't just different, they were completely opposite. This stark contrast revealed how bias still operates in modern sports coverage and fan reactions. The study built on the concept of colorblind racism, which explains how racial bias continues to exist through coded language rather than direct discrimination. This incident goes way beyond just one game or one foul. Clark herself had talked about the importance of rivalry before the game, explaining how certain matchups mean more and get fans more involved. The WNBA's investigation is still ongoing, and how they handle this will set important lessons for the future. Clark and Reese are scheduled to face each other 4 more times this season, so this rivalry will continue to be in the spotlight. The question is, will this investigation lead to real change, or will it just be another missed opportunity? The spotlight is on the WNBA now, and how they handle this situation will be watched closely by the entire sports world.